Let's start off with any wins. Any wins? Anything going good? You want to share? I know, Leanne, you were sharing something.
So I am working on my very first, possibly, hopefully, an annuity.
Awesome. How did you find it?
So
Bye.
it's a friend of mine, and he has a TRS, which it shows up as like a teacher retirement, but he's a nurse, and
Hello.
I guess the hospital offers it.
I'm good. How are you? Hey, that's a good thing. That's
Hey,
important.
can you mute?
Carrie.
Carrie? Carrie's looking all pretty. I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, that TRS is teacher retirement.
Yeah, but so he got it, I guess, working from the hospital. So because he's
Okay.
a nurse. But
Okay.
anyway, so he's no longer working for this hospital. It's got like as of this morning, his account balance is 8,000 something. So he was needing to roll it into something. So when I was checking with Scott, he was either saying an annuity or an IUL. So I called National Life Group, and so we can do an annuity with that amount. And so yeah, so I
Congratulations, your first of
think
many. You're going to have more
yeah,
to come. So that would definitely help you to know how to answer the questions. Also ask the questions by listening to what Scott is, telling you to do. Do we have any more wins? Anybody else want to share?
I'm at an event. Sorry, I meant to mute.
How did it
I
go?
I'm at it right now. I started at 11 and I've just been saying hi to people and it's fun. I am enjoying it.
Awesome. Are they coming to your table? Are you getting them to come over?
So far, yeah, I'm like right in the walkway. So this is working out well, I think.
Great job. Anyone else?
yeah, I submitted the term policy last night through NLG. Got that one by following up with some people doing some policy reviews, and so that came out of that.
Nice work. That's how you keep the pipeline going. Anyone
Exactly.
else? Okay. All right, so let's get started. Congratulations, everyone, on your wins. So, like I was telling them earlier, you get to pick my brains, ask me whatever questions you may want, and I'm going to share some things with you guys. So, as you know, my production for last month was over 100K, but a lot came into that. And I just want to share with you and go over the steps that I took to get there and some things that I am doing to keep that going. So the first thing that I want you guys to do is strictly you have to get your boot camp done. So that's the very first thing. You want to get to boot camp. If that's something that you know you want to do, get to boot camp. Make sure that you get trained on it because it's a lot of information that you would definitely need to be trained on. So the second thing is you want to stay plugged into trainings. I know sometimes, it may look like it's a lot of training, but when it comes to AM, advanced market, there is a lot that goes into that. And when you're on these trainings, you get to ask the questions that you need to ask and get them answered. And then you may hear someone else asking a question that maybe you didn't think about and it's something that you need. So the trainings are very, very important. Is everybody tuning in? Because I know the 12 o'clock training is for people that want to get into advanced market. He's like starting from the beginning. And then the 3 o'clock one is for the people who are already certified. So it looks like some people be in that training too that's not even certified. So if you're really serious about it and want to get into it, I would advise you to jump in both. And that way you can start hearing the things that you need to hear. Okay. That was the second thing, staying in training. The third thing is I don't just do Scott's trainings. I follow this guy, Chris Nog, on YouTube, and that's all he focuses on. and I watch him all the time. My radio is never on in my car. I call it YouTube University. I'm always listening to something. And that's where you can get your knowledge from. You may hear some things that you can pick up on easily and remember a little bit better than what the next person is teaching you. So you want to find somebody that you like and that you feel that is value to you, and make good notes and just keep listening to it over and over again. You're not just going to get it by attending a couple of trainings or listening to videos. You have to be consistent with it. And I'm always listening, just listening to something. And if it's something that I need a little extra help with, I am searching for that. The next thing that I do is I read. The first book, when Scott introduced this to us, I read the book Becoming Your Own Bank. And that was with R. Nelson Nash. Very good book. It breaks it down how it got started. And now I am reading a book, The Second Chance by Robert Kiyosaki. I hope I'm saying his name right. That's a really good book. He teaches you a lot about money. I read some of his other books, but the Second Chance book, it's it's a book that's really asking, someone is asking questions and he's answering the questions. So he goes into a lot of different things in that book. So you may find, something else that may be helpful to you, but you want to continue to feed your brain, continue to get the knowledge. So just even if you tell yourself, read 5 pages a day. Just fit it in somewhere. That's what I have to put on my calendar. Read 5 pages in the morning, 5 pages at night, and I'm getting 10 pages in a day. Because that was very hard for me to kind of like, slow myself down and get everything in that's on my calendar. So you're gonna read, you're gonna attend boot camp, you're gonna attend trainings. And what is that? Another thing that I do is the carrier, Lafayette. They will go over everything with you. They break it down. I have a binder that I use with just for doing debt free life, answering all the questions that I have asked the carriers, asked Scott. They're written down in there until I can understand and know how to just remember everything. But the carriers are they're very patient. They will sit there until you get it. They do not rush you off the phones. So anything that you need, they will go over an entire application with you, illustration from top to bottom. And you ask as many questions as you want. They will answer. Even from down how you get paid, we're breaking it down because there is a lot of breakdown that comes into your pay. So they will break that down. Don't be afraid to use them. Now, I've came across some carriers that they rush you off the phone, but they don't. They don't. And call as many times as you want. They will go into your illustration platform, pick the client, go over everything with you, or even do one side by side with you. So that is something that I definitely will encourage you to do, is reach out to the carrier, because we know Scott is busy. And if we can get knowledge from somewhere else, then we definitely need to do that. Let's see, I have some questions. What are your favorite carrier for debt free life? Thank you, Leanne. Right now it's Lafayette. They're really, really good. I like them. So I'm going to just stop right there and see any other questions about what I've shared so far. Y'all quiet. Y'all not going to do this to me. Micheline, I can't hear you, Misha.
Your explanation is so clear that there is no question so far.
Oh, well, thank you. All right. So the next thing that I have is what I did when I first started doing advanced market. My very first 3 policies was with Scott. When you're meeting with Scott and he's taking over your meeting, you don't want to just sit there and listen. You want to take notes. I wrote down everything Scott was saying. And then I created, well, I had screenshots, sent it to my assistant, but for you guys that don't have one, create it into a PDF. And then what you want to do is you want to look at those questions, because when it's time for you to meet with somebody by yourself, you don't want to just start looking like, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to ask. You have those questions. And then if you don't understand it, you go back to Scott. Hey, Scott, you asked this question. Can you tell me a little bit about this or why you're asking the questions? Like, I didn't hold back on anything. I call Scott all the time, and that's what he's for. Even if you want to record the phone call or the Zoom, you want to do it. You want to write it down. Just do not sit there. And then what I did from there, I took it and I made it my own, because not one person is going to do something the same way, and they're not going to do it to your liking. So you take it and you make it your own. And that's exactly what I did. Even with the questions that I was getting from the client and hearing the questions that was asked Scott, I even made a note of that, so that when it's time for the next client to ask that question, I know how Scott replied back to it. And then if I need to do some more research on it, I'm going to call the carrier and I'm going to ask them about that as well. So a lot of them at Lafayette, they know me. I call a lot. And that's what they get paid for. Utilize them, guys. So any questions about that with Scott? Put those, don't just sit there like, I'm gonna let Scott do it. And then you get off of that Zoom and you don't know what the heck Scott was talking about.
So when you called Lafayette, you actually give him like a full scenario about what the client is looking for to create an illustration and all that?
Question, Misha.
Or
Yes,
or just
because that's what they're going to ask you all the time, especially with the IULs. They're going to ask you, what is the client trying to do? So when you call them, they are going to want to know the client's information, and then they're going to want to know the purpose for it. So you're going to ask your client, what is it that you're trying to do? Are you trying to build cash accumulation? Or if it's an IUL, are you trying to, is the parent trying to just make sure they have funds for the child graduation? Purchase a new home? When do you want to cut it off? So those are the questions that they're going to ask. And guys, I'm going to move a little bit more onto more things. So not just infinite banking, also IULs, annuities, all this deals with, definitely with that production that I created. It was a mix of all of them. So you want to have your questions to ask. Misha, did that answer your question?
yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, Helen, hi everyone. I want to share something with you guys from yesterday. They were really helpful, Lafayette, yesterday for me. And that's great to know that they will have.
Oh, she's froze on us. Oh, look at is she froze for y'all too? Oh, I can hear you now.
I was saying that my first experience with Lafayette, it was yesterday.
Mhm.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, I heard that part. What did you call them for? What help did you need?
To finalize the contract with them. And they were really helpful and
Mhm.
willing to help me. And that's great to know from you
Yeah.
today that they are patient and they have the time to explain, like you're saying about IULs and annuities, everything. They will help us because I know
Yes.
everybody's in the wrong. Everybody wants to make money, and I understand that part. But when you don't know the entire information, it's great to know a support like that,
Yes.
especially from from the carrier.
Yes. Most definitely.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. Thank you for sharing. And even with SILAC for annuities and National Life Group, it's the same. They have a department there just for that. So any questions that you have, call them and ask. We don't want you to have to wait for Scott, because Scott, we know he's busy. So use them. And Carrie looked like she's having fun with the people at her table. Get them to sign up. Okay, so the next thing that I will talk to you guys about is, okay, I went over making it your own. You can't be silent about this. Let people know you want to reach out to them, let them know that they have options. I'm going to share something that happened yesterday. I had a client to call me because he was having problems with his Mutual of Omaha policy. So he called me and I wrote this client up in 2020. So he called me, we called Mutual of Omaha, we got the problem, fixed. We still going back and forth with them. But I talked to him about what I'm doing now, and I just slid it in. Like, you're not going to talk to me, and I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing. So I said, let me share with you what I'm doing now. And he was like, what are you doing now? I said, well, a lot of people that I talk to, they see on Instagram where people build their own bank inside of their life insurance policy. It's before. I said, well, guess what? I'm doing that now. I am helping people to get out of debt using a whole life policy, but it's not just a regular whole life policy like you have. It's a participating whole life policy that's not just giving you compound interest, it's giving you uninterrupted compound interest, and then you get dividends. I say, so he's like, really? I say, yes. I say, would you like to hear more about it? I say, because I can go on and on about it. I'm very passionate about it. And he's like, I hear that. I say, so let's set up a time, get you on my calendar. I go over a presentation, takes maybe about 20 minutes, where I'm showing you how the banks use your money and what they do with your money. And then I'm showing you how you can do what the bank is doing with your money through a policy like this. And he was like, yeah, set me up. So when I sent him over the link, his wife called me back and she said, Helen, I have a lot of people that have been asking about this. Can I get them on the Zoom with you? I was like, sure. I don't care because I'm starting to do webinars now. You guys just missed my first one last week, but I'm going to be doing another one on next week. I'm going to do them every other week. And long story short, when they filled out and you have on there to put any questions, any notes, they have about 8 people that's going to be on the Zoom, and they're couples. So you never know what you get from planting one seed and talking to one person. You don't know how much, what's the outcome going to come from that. So just don't be silent about it. Just give a little bit. What I'm trying to scale down from is I get so excited about it to sometimes I want to do the Zoom right then and there. So I'm having to learn how to come down and make it short and get them to my Zoom. So, guys, have any questions about that part?
The
Yeah,
whole fear of word vomit. I think that's
but
where I
not.
go wrong too, because I get excited about it, I word vomit it, and then I think I scare off my clients.
Yeah. But you know what, Leanne? It's crazy because what I be talking about, they're like, I've been hearing this. I want to know about this. It's the words that you're using. Take back control of your money, you know. Pay
Helen,
the interest to yourself. It's the words that they're hearing and it's making them curious about, I want to know that. Like,
Yeah, you
I
should
didn't
give us a
know that.
list of the best word tracks to use that we can use for our posting. You need to do.
Yes,
That's what you need to do.
exactly. So it doesn't look like you're just throwing stuff at them. You're giving them things that's going to make them think like, how she got somebody out of debt in that amount of time? And it's back to being able to use a story. Like sometimes if I'm talking to a business owner and I start my conversation off with, because I worked with one realtor and we're actually, she's shared with me how she's going to use her bank. So she shared it with me. So I'm talking. So if I walk up to a business owner and I say, hey, my name is Helen. What I'm doing right now is I'm helping business owners to be able to take control of their monies and not having to go to banks to get business loans and have to pay back those high interest rates. And I say, for an example, they're like, sure, Rick. And how are you doing that? I said, well, let me give you a quick example. I'm working with a business owner, and what she's doing is she's a realtor. And the monies that she's making, she is putting that money into a participating whole life policy, which I will teach you about and how to work that. And she's going to always have somewhere to go get money when she need it. Don't have to ask for permission for it. Don't have to pay any fees for it. Is that something that you would be interested in hearing? And of course, the answer was yes. So that's just finding something that connects with the next person. And I have my first event with it's over 40 realtors that's going to be in a room tomorrow. They're doing a staging class, and the young lady that does the staging, it has been my life insurance client for 4 years now. And she said, Helen, I have something for you. I want you to become one of my vendors because I know you do the mortgage protection. And I want you to, I give you time to stand before them and tell them what you do, give them flyers, answer some questions. And I never wanted to do it. I never wanted to do it. And I signed up. It was $50 a month. I've been paid the $50, but I never went to her classes. She sent me out the schedule. I never did one. But once I started doing the debt-free life and seeing how that can also help those realtors because they don't have a steady commission. They're not always closing a house. So that commission they're getting, having them to put it somewhere where they have, monies that they can go back to. And then when I got comfortable with talking about this, I say, let me call her and see when her next meeting is. And I got on, I said, I will be there. And she follows me on social media. And she said, I knew you was going to start calling me. She said, because I see what you're doing now, and that can really help. So she's starting hers. I've had the meeting with her. She's turned in her form. So she's actually starting her bank. So now she said, they really need this. I'm so glad you reached out to me. I'm going to throw some mortgage protection in there. And I'm also going to throw it in there where they can become an agent and they can offer mortgage protections to their clients themselves. So I got some things I'm going to pitch to them on tomorrow, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. I did a very, very nice front and back flyer for them with a success story on the back from that realtor that I talked to. And she called that her bank is going to be her silent partner. So it's a lot that you can do with this. And I hope that some things that I'm telling you guys on today, you can take it and make it your own. Go out to vendor tables, because that's my job, is to get in front of more people than just one at a time. Because I tell you guys, I get tired of doing the Zoom and just talking over and over and over again. When I did that Zoom and I had the amount of people on there, and I'm like, I'm going to start doing more of these. People that reach out to me, I can be, hey, get on the Zoom. I'm going to be talking about it then. And I can talk to multiple people at one time. So you guys have to have some questions for me because I have to get some water.
I have a question. How long is your webinar, Helen?
The first one was 30 minutes. I'm going to move to 45 because it was like I was it was the first one. I only did it with my insurance group, and I will share that group with you guys if you want to get in it. I only shared it with them. I didn't put it out to the public. As you guys know, I'm getting used to speaking in front of people, and I'm poodles. And so I wanted to do it in front of a small group first. So that's why I said only 30 minutes of your time, but I think it went really well. I got a lot of feedback. I got some people to schedule on my book. So Teresa, I'm going to 45 minutes so that I can slow it down a little bit and spend a little bit more time on the slides. If that answered your question.
No, it did. I'm just wondering because I did one, but I did like very short one for like 15, 20 minutes. That I did one last time. So I was just curious as to how long it goes, because I know people's attention span sometimes is not all there.
This is what I did and why I started doing Zooms and sharing things, because I was having clients to come back and they still had a lot of questions after just sitting on a Zoom and all of that information coming to you. So they still had questions. So I said, how can I make this relatable and make it stick with them and make them understand it more? So I came up with a presentation. So when I first started doing my Zooms, it was just me talking to them. I did an illustration for Lafayette that I share with them so that they can see exactly how it works, the dividend section, where they're getting the cash accumulation from, the monies that they can get out, and then the debt benefit. So I showed them that. After I showed them that, and it was only that page there, I showed them a debt action plan. I show them and tell them exactly what we do, what I do with that. It's two moving parts if we're getting out of debt. We have to get your bank started, which is your policy. So then I'm taking that policy and I'm going to put it into my software. I'm explaining to them about the sheet that they have to fill out. Exactly, fill it out. I'm going to need your principals. I'm going to need your interest rates. I'm going to need how much you're paying and what you're paying over. I say that plays a big part. If I don't have the correct things, you cannot guess that your debt action plan is not going to be correct. So I talk to them about that. Then I tell them how I put it into the debt action plan, the software, and I share that with them. So I go over that whole debt action plan with them. And they get it. I have nobody that asks any additional questions on how it works. No one. And then after I did that, I saw Jacarya's webinar that Scott did with her. I looked out, he explained, I took some of the slides, not all, I made them my own. And I love how he explained how the banks use our money.
Mm-hmm.
I made some slides out of that. You'd be amazed. People don't know that when you put your money in the bank, 10% of your money is going into a reserve account and the other 90% is going to be used as investment. They don't know that. I didn't know that. So telling them exactly the things that the bank do, they do a little real estate, but the thing that we're focusing on is the BOLI accounts, the bank-owned life insurance accounts, which is the same that I have just talked to you about. So they understand it. Then I'm telling them, why the wealthy people use this, how they don't have to pay taxes on their money, because anything that has a debt benefit connected to it, guess what? Uncle Sam can't tax them on it. I tell them about the IRS code 7702. So if you don't believe me, go look it up. And I tell them, I want you to go back and look that up. Anything with a debt benefit attached to it, IRS cannot tax you on it. So that's why they are putting their money into these type of policies. So it's like getting the wheels turning, and then like, And then some of those slides also shows them what else the bank do with your money. They lend your money out, that 90%, to people for home mortgage loans, car loans, business loans, personal loans. Why you want to give them that? They're using other people's money. Have you heard that saying? Oh, OP, what is other people's money? OP, whatever it is. They're using other people's money to make them rich. So why don't you do the same thing with your money and pay yourself the interest like the banks is charging people a high interest rate? Then I have questions afterwards, like, do I have to pay the money back? And why do I don't even give them a chance to ask me why they have to take out a loan and not a withdrawal. I go over that with them. And I let them know, when you take out a withdrawal, Uncle Sam is smiling, because what? That becomes income. And then what happens? Uncle Sam wants his money. They're going to tax it. So then I'm telling them about the loans and how the loans work and why you want to pay yourself back, because you don't cheat the bank when you take out a loan from the bank for anything. You have to give them their interest. And this is what we're trying to do, take back control of our money. So now let's put that interest into your bank. And I always just let them know, just because your money is there, you have access to your money. If you have to, come off your plan for a little bit because you need some money, you can do it. At least you're letting them know that my money is not tied up. I don't have to let it, sit all that time. I don't know if you need it, use it. But just know it's going to push you back a little bit time on you becoming debt free. So long as you let them know, long as they know that they have that money there, you find bigger what is discretionary income, because now they want their bank to be bigger. So once they understand how this goes, they're not afraid of dumping 1,000, 1,500 into a policy, because they know that they have access to their money and they understand how it's working, and they understand that this is what the banks is doing with my money. I want to do the same thing. So those slides really help. It really helped. So I'll let you guys know when I have the next one, which is going, I know when the next one is, next Wednesday at 7. I normally do a Thursday, but then when I found out two of my guys couldn't get on because I was watching football. So football is back. They didn't start it. So I'm not going to do it on a Thursday night. I'm going to do it on Wednesday nights. So any questions?
So Wednesday night at what, 7?
At 7. Yes, I'll share. Let me see. I'm trying to each person. What software do you do the DFL in? Michelle, that is called Agency Rocket. That's the name of the software. It costs, if you just do the debt-free life, I think it's like $149, and they take it out every month. You also can do the IULs, but I did it the first month, but I never used it, so I didn't pay for the IULs. That's if somebody want to see a side-by-side illustration from another company or something, but I don't use it. So that's Agency Rocket. And we have another question. What would be the smallest amount that you can contribute to your bank to start it? My smallest one that I have done is 500. And when a person throws a number at me, and even if we're getting those over amounts to be 1,500, 1,200, I am asking the question over and over and over again, because I made the mistake of not doing this before, but I was just starting, so I didn't know. So some of my clients that had this $2,500, these 2,000, they wind up bringing it down to like 1,800, and one of them went down to 1,000 after that first payment. So you want to make sure, and I asked the client, remember, are you paying these overpayments every single month? They may check that they're consistent with it and may not be. I tell them, if something breaks, I don't want you to say, I can't pay this $1,500. We need to make sure that this is something that you can pay every single month. Now, do we need to scale this down a little bit? And I'm asking that because I'm not worried about a commission. I'm worried about them keeping it on the books. And I'm worried about them getting to be debt free and building wealth, which I am teaching them to do. So you want to make sure that they understand that. And then I let them know that you can put more money into your bank. Some of them stay at that 1,500. Some stay at that 2,000 because they can do it. But then you have some that think about it. Oh, let me go down. Because they know once you say just coming out your bank account, whatever day you get, it's going to pull it out every single month. So don't be afraid to ask that question over and over again. If you don't want a phone call, I can't make that payment. What do we need to do? Because I can't pay that. So before that happens, you want to go after it before it. So Corey, I hope that answered your question. So yes, $500 has been the lowest. And then you may have some people that don't have much debt, but they know about the infinite banking side and they want to do it. I've had some clients like that too, that only had like maybe one bill or something. I think he had just his card because his house was paid off. So we can't do the debt-free life side, but you still can do the infinite banking. And I'm actually working with him now. He puts $800 a month into his savings account. And right now he has over 60,000 just sitting in his savings account. And when I showed him what the bank is doing, I said, the bank love you right now. And once he saw that presentation, he was like, wow. But he's kind of a tough cookie. He's telling me that he had one more project that he wants to work on his house. He want to build this section, and he's going to take out a loan and still do it. So I'm still like, why you want to do that? First of all, you got the money in the bank. Man, send me over his bank statement, because I asked the question. I'm still not understanding why you're going to take a loan out if you telling me you have that amount of money sitting in your savings. So something is not connecting with him, but he's getting it. I'm following up on him, and he reached out to me on yesterday. So I'm like, why don't you bill your bank and you take that out and you pay yourself back? So some of it's tough. It's always easy. It's not always easy. You always have something to say, things, and I'm always writing down, like, that's a new question for me. So I'm writing it down, I'm adding it to my list so that I can know how to come back with that objection. So it's easy. I'm not gonna tell y'all it's easy. You just have to know how to talk, how to answer the questions, how to approach people, and just make it your own, make it comfortable to whereas you can flow with it, you can talk about it. And I don't think I have anything else for you guys. Any questions? Come on, ask some questions.
How do we get signed up for your next class?
I'm gonna send it out as soon as we get it going.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Do anybody have any that they're working on right now with Scott?
No, but I'm working on my own.
Good. Wait, good.
I have a trust we're working on.
How did you get them, Teresa? Teresa, I hope I'm saying your name right.
Get who? No, I'm doing my own bank. I'm creating my own policy.
That helps. That really helps, because I share with them at the end. I tell them that I am a product of it, and it doesn't matter how old you get, because guys, I'm 57. I wish I would have known about this years ago. I will be sitting pretty, my kids will be sitting pretty, and I tell them, I share with them, I say, I don't care to share with you guys that I have almost $400,000 in debt. That's with student loans, that I got these degrees and I'm not even using them, but I have these student loans. So with me having almost $400,000 in debt, that hurts, guys. But just to know, with my husband and I doing it our way, it was going to take us almost over 30 years to take care of that. And you guys know student loans are almost designed not to never be paid back. And I used to hear Scott say that, and I used to say, I want to find out where that's at. And it's actually in that Second Chance book that I'm reading. I read it the other night. I was like, okay, here it is. But doing it this way, I am putting $1,800 into my bank every month, and we're going to do it in under 10 years. And I don't mind sharing that with people. They'd be like, wow. I say, right. Who don't want to do this? And you have time to do it. Don't say that you're too old. You're never too old to get it started. No. And to share with you guys, I had to put it on my husband because I couldn't do it. So that's a good thing. And that's another thing that to tell you guys about is people are very happy when they can use a surrogate. Because you have a lot of people that have, some health issues, some medication, and the carriers are just not taking it. So that's another big part. And then to share with you guys, I don't know if you were on the training where I asked got this question. I have a mom and a son. The son is 24. Mom is the owner and a payer, but she got it. She couldn't get it on herself, so she had to use her son. So Lafayette emailed me and told me that he's 24. They don't want, a parent having that much control over, the amount of monies that he's going to be having over his cash accumulation. So they're big on that. So I had to talk to the mom and see what she wanted to do. She was okay with it. And she was like, Dylan is okay. It doesn't matter. We can go ahead. So he's the owner, she's the payer. She just could not be the owner, but she was able to be the payer. So when you come across somebody like that, you may, have to let them know that they can't be the owner of the policy and see if they have some kind of a great relationship to whereas they'll be okay because they're putting in $1,500 a month on this policy. So that's another thing, you guys. I'm glad I shared with you too. Scott said we can change it over. I asked the question. They told me no, but I don't know. Scott may have something else he can do. We'll talk about it later and see once they get it started. But yeah.
I had that happen with NLG, where I wrote a policy for my daughter and I was going to be the owner and the payer. And they said no, that she had to be the owner and the payer. But then she told me that once it's enforced, I'd be able to change that.
Okay. Yeah, but
So,
I may have to talk to somebody else at Lafayette. Sometimes you get different information. So I may ask that question again
but
to somebody else.
you might also be able to do it. You know how they create the portal for them and then you can submit your own paperwork without having to call them and have them do it for you. So just look at different ways where you can make it work.
I'm glad you said that, Teresa. With talking with Lafayette and also SILAC and NLG, all three of them, guys, you don't even have to call them on the phone. You communicate straight through the portal. You send your files straight through the portal. And I like that. And it answers very quickly. So you don't have to sit there on the phone. If they email you and have a question or have some requirement, you can just communicate with that underwriter right there from your
On the
portal
portal.
and submit documents and send it in and everything. I love it. Those are some very, very good carriers to use. And I had another, did I write it down? It's gonna have to come back to me because
And
Teresa.
just like Helen said, Lafayette will sit there and do the illustration with you and they'll explain it to you. And I love them. And then they'll send it to you. They're like, oh, here it is. I'll send you the illustration once it's done so you can review it.
Exactly. Because even if you may think you got it, the illustration is very simple. You're only putting in a few things. 40,
Yep.
60, the premium amount, paid up edition, the extra term amount. That's it. You're done. It's very easy. Very, very easy. I haven't seen them. And then, Teresa, another thing that I've done is I let them show me what it looks like. And even though Scott talked about it in boot camp, he don't touch a lot on it because we're only dealing with debt-free life, and debt-free life is always 40, 60. But I see what it looks like at 30, 30,
That's what
70,
I did.
and all of that. And they show me and tell me why to do it that way, when you would use it. And it's just according to what you're doing it for.
Yeah.
Because just like I said earlier, the commission, you're going to get less commission if you go to 30. But if it's going to help the client, you want to do what's going to be helpful for the client. And if they want their money and need more cash accumulation, you definitely have to go past 40. Lower than 40. So
Yeah.
that's
I played with it at 30, 70 and 90, 10 with the numbers just because, to see the difference and what's available and just created different scenarios.
it's really the
But
numbers.
it is what, you have to look and know what the client is looking to do. Because that's how you're going to build it based on what their needs are and how fast they want to access cash and what they're looking to build and have in the future. So it's not just let me plug in whatever number I want to do. It's really designed around the client's needs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I know for some reason Scott said on the debt-free life side to use that 40/60. I don't.
For debt, that's why you got to see what they need to do. Like if they're using it for real estate investing, then you'd go 90/10. Like it really depends on what they're going to do. If they need
Yeah,
access to the cash right away, then you want to switch it.
yeah,
If you're
definitely the
looking
real
to get
estate
out of debt
agents.
and build that so that you can build more,
Mm-hmm.
the interest is going to build more on the funds that are in there, then you do want to go 60/40.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And definitely the real estate agent. I'm going to definitely go lower with her because they need access to the money
Mm-hmm.
and they need more cash accumulation. Definitely what you're saying. You're so right about that. Anybody have anything lined up? What are you guys going to do? Are you going to go out there? And I know what I wanted to say. I wanted to tell you guys we're doing debt-free life. You cannot, even though this is something that I want to focus on, and this is all that I want to do, and pretty much it wasn't in the beginning, but they take a while to pay off. So you have to throw some life in there. So I've been doing a lot of final expense until I can, getting it all rolling in. So you want to not just focus on one thing. Eventually I'll be able to get there once I, build up my monies. But you want to get some consistent money coming in, and that will be your final expense, your other type of policies. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Don't sit back and wait for this thing to pay off because it takes some weeks.
It could roll over to the next month. And
It will roll over to the next month.
I know.
It will. I only saw one that didn't. And you know what, Teresa? I think it was mine that it was approved quickly because I was sending my stuff in. I knew that we need to get these parameds done. So as soon as I submitted the application, I went on and scheduled a paramed. I
Mm-hmm.
sent them everything that they needed. So you got to wait on these clients to send you paperwork to schedule to get their pre-meds done. I'm like, you know what? You really have to schedule it 2 weeks out. So it is going to take over a month. Not unless you have some clients that you are really, really on. And if you put a date in there, I want you to be mindful before they approve and submit that, because this was something I ran into. So I'm telling you guys our hiccups. You want to make sure you call that client and say, everything is a go. Everything is cleared. You're approved. Can we still take that $1,500 out on tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
If not, you're going to get probably a mad client. Well, that's a big payment. It's been a while since we did the application. Y'all should have reminded me and let me know that it's going to come out on this date. So just make sure you follow up with your clients because they may need to move it to another day. And Lafayette is all right with that. They are right. They stop it. You just have to communicate with them. So it's everything with communicating. With these policies, they're big policies. You want to make sure that you are communicating with your client throughout the entire process. Even while you're waiting to get it approved, you want to call and let them know, hey, they're still working on it. Just want you to know I haven't forgotten about you. I knew I'd probably be reaching out because I may need something else, but just wanted to know, do you have any additional questions? So you want to stay in contact with your client.
You are the intermediary. So just remember that you remember this. So because it's a bigger policy, there's a bigger risk for that. The insurance company is going to order paramedics. So you have to be the one that's going to schedule that for your client and make sure that the client schedules that with the exam company. So what I did is I called my client, I called exam one, and I had them both on, and I said, let me connect you so that we can schedule it now. Because my client wanted to schedule it 2 weeks out. And I was like, 2 weeks out? We've already waited 3 weeks. Now it's 2 weeks. Like, no, let's get it done now. And then when I called her, she says, oh, they've been sending me text messages, but I haven't been able to schedule it and it doesn't go through and blah, blah, blah. I said, don't worry about it. We're going to do it right now and I'm going to help you. So just hold on the line. Let me get them and we'll schedule it. So we were able to finally get it scheduled and it got done. So you are the one, you're the agent, right? This is your case. So you got to remember that it's not just let the insurance company do it all, because they're not. This is your client, your case, your pay. So you have to
Keep
be on top of
notes.
that step
Yep,
by step.
and keep your notes. You want to keep your notes. It was something else. I need to write down what I need to be saying, because I hear you talking about something else and I forget about it. It was something we needed too. You guys needed to know. It'll come. But any other questions? We almost coming up on the hour. I think this went really good. Leanne, what are the best word tracks you recommend we use to attract clients on social media? It's your audience. I would say I always like to use debt-free life. That's one thing, letting them know that you are showing people the time that you can actually split that into a fraction of the time that they are paying right now. I would say that that is the biggest one. Being your own banker, that make them think and wonder, okay, how can I do that? Taking back
I
control
usually,
of your money. What you use, Sarissa?
so when I'm talking to them, so and I've been calling like old leads, just people, and these are people like women that I met at a conference in 2018. And what I say to them is, hi, this is Teresa. We met, they don't even know who I am, and I don't even know who they are, right? Because we just met once at an expo. And I said, hi, this is Teresa. We met back like in 2018 at the Women's Expo. And I was just checking in to see, like I said, for three reasons. The first is I want to see, how everything's going, if there's any way that I can help you. Two, I know you were interested in real estate. I was wondering if you have any real estate right now. And then depending on what it is, right? Or if you have any life insurance yet. And then they'll be like, oh, yes, no. And I said, well, I also wanted to share with you a new program that we have available, which is called the Debt-Free Legacy. And what this does is it helps homeowners who are in a traditional, mortgage of 30 years to take that from 30 years and pay it off in 10 to 12 years. Is that something that would interest you? And some will be like, yes, some will be like, no. Like I had two ladies tell me, call me in 2 months or call me in a month. Both of them said, oh, call me next month because right now I'm sick and blah, 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 blah. I said, okay, I'm going to put you down and I'm going to call you in a month so we can check this out. So, so it's really just having them see, hey, do you want to go 30 years to pay this off, or do you want to pay it off in 10 years, 10 to 12 years?
That's
And
good.
everybody's going to be like, I want to pay it off faster.
And they want to know how.
Mm-hmm.
So just be ready to show them how and have something set up. I've also printed out my what I just did on yesterday. I printed out my slides and I put them into this nice the presentation binder that you normally get, when you're in school. I put it in there and I'm just going to keep it in my car in case I run across somebody and they want to know right then and there. Hey, we can have this meeting right here, So just being prepared at all times, because you never know when somebody may have time. So it is 12:55. Any other questions? Teresa, you see Misha kept us, doing this ourselves, right? We're going to tell Scott and Darren. We're going to tell them this. They're
Monday, he's
very
going to the principal's
quiet.
office.
He lives in his car.
He does.
I know, but very good information. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome. We're going to leave him alone. He's driving. Okay, if we don't have any other questions, a lot of useful information. Thank you so much. You're
Thank you so
welcome,
much.
Michelle. Thank you. You're welcome. So if you guys have any other questions, reach out. We are always, available for you guys. I am going to put my group in the chat. So it would just be nice if you guys will just accept my group just to have, and you guys can post stuff in the group too. just giving people information that they may need, because we want everybody to be informed about, not just debt-free life, legacy, life insurance in general. And in that group, I'm talking to people about life insurance, like different things that they don't understand. And I got a client from it yesterday that saw something in there and he wanted to get a policy for his mom. So he didn't think that because she had things going on that he can still get a policy. So just having stuff in there, and if you guys put it in there, and you also send other people to the group, and you can tell them if it's anything helpful, come back to me. They can come back and ask you questions about it. You know, just trying to build a community where people can go and ask questions freely that may not want to ask it on your social media, your regular page where you have a lot of people on it. So thank you guys. Thank you, Corey. And have a great day, everyone. Let's go out. Don't be a silent agent. You want to make sure that you are sharing everything that you do with your clients. So we want hear some wins on, not tomorrow, on Friday morning call. We're going to get some wins up. Okay. Bye-bye.
Hey, Helen, can I see you in your break room?
Sure.